Are you able to see the screen? Hello, good morning to everyone. Are you able to see the screen? Good morning. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So yesterday, where we have ended up in the second problem, okay, we have calculated the fixed end moments. Can I start the session? Yes, can I start the session? Ritesh?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Can I start the session?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So in the second problem, yesterday what we have seen is, okay. So whenever we are starting any session, we'll just remember or revise the steps which we need to do, because it is one way where we can remember. Even if you are not by hearting, we can remember. Okay. So in first step, whenever we are doing Canis method and continuous beams, okay, first step is to find the fixed end moments. And in the second step, we will calculate the rotation factor. Rotation factor is nothing but half of distribution factor with negative sign. Okay, in distribution factor you will have k by summation of k, but whereas in rotation factor we will have minus half of k by summation of k. So distribution factor, if you know, rotation factor will be minus half of distribution factor. Okay, that is the second step we will do. And the third step is we'll calculate the resultant moments at each joint. Okay, based on the iteration, Canis iteration cycle, which is based on Gauss-Seidel's method. Okay. After that, we'll calculate the final end moments. How we will calculate the final end moments? We'll calculate the final end moments by using the formula fixed end moments plus summation of rare end moments and far end contributions. Okay. That is the 5 steps we need to remember every time when you are solving Canis problem. Okay. So in this problem, in the first step, we have calculated the fixed end moments. Okay, these are based on the formulas which we know. Okay, fixed end point load means WAB square by L square. And if a fixed end UDL is there, then we'll go for WL square by 12. This is WL square by 12. Here I am having the formula WL square by 12. Okay, WL square by 12. If it is a uniformly unsymmetrical loading, WAB square by L square and W B A square B by L square. If it is symmetrical loading, you will have WL by 8. Okay, this yesterday's class session we have seen. We have calculated the fixed end moments. Okay, so next step is calculation of rotation factor. Okay, at BA, since I am telling for continuous beams, you can directly by heart this. Okay, no need of thinking anything. Just you can write EI by L. Only thing is you have to check the value of I. In the problem, if I value is given as 1.5, you have to keep it as 1.5. Okay, EI by L. So I is given in the problem as 1.5. This is 1.5i, 2i for second span. For third span, it is I. So we have substituted all these values here. Okay. So I value for this, it is 1.5. For the second span, I value is 2i. So I have entered 2 here. Similarly, for CB, this I value is 2. So 2i. So I have entered 2. And for CD, it is only 1. So simply I have entered I value. So based on this, we have calculated the summation of K by adding these two parameters we have added to get the value of summation of K, and rotation factor by substituting in the formula, we get the rotation factors. Okay, this is how we got the rotation factors. And then once we got the rotation factor, we'll go for distribution of rotation factors. Okay, so rotation contribution at fixed end is always 0. So here and here it is 0. And then rotation factors at joints, we have calculated minus 0.25, minus 0.25, minus 0.33 and minus 0.7. This whatever I have written in red mark is from this particular points. Okay, these are the values 1, 2, 3, 4. These values I have entered here, rotation factors. Okay, And then these are the fixed end moments 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the fixed end moments which I've got from step 1. And the intermediate part of this rectangle is summation of moments at this joint. How we got 17.78 plus minus 66.67. You will get minus 48.89. Similarly, 66.67 minus 20, you will get 46.67. Okay. These are all we have seen in the yesterday's class. And then next, the iteration part. Okay. So iteration factor, rotation contributions. These are all rotation contribution values. 12.22, 17.08. These are called as rotation contributions. And this minus 0.25 is rotation factor. Okay. Just try to remember this terminology. Here we are calculating the rotation factors. Okay. Here we are calculating the, in step 3, it is rotation contributions. Okay. Based on distribution of rotation factor, we will get rotation contributions. Okay. So rotation contributions, RC stands for rotation contributions. Rotation contributions is fixed and is always 0. So here and here it's 0. And for intermediate points, how you will calculate? By using this formula, rotation factor into summation of movements at the joint plus summation of rotation contributions at far end. Okay. Here, just try to, I'll make a one note. Okay. Just try to remember this summation of rotation contributions at far end. Okay. Here he has given summation. Why he has given summation? If more than 2 joints are there, then it will be useful. Suppose if we have another joint here, okay, at D also it is continuous. A, B, C, D. After D, I am having E. So whenever I am calculating C, I will take B value and D value. Okay. That by calculating the frames part, you will understand. But as of now, remember just summation of rotation contributions means for C, if D is also existing, we'll take these 2 values. Just for a note, I am telling. At the frames part, we'll see that. Okay, rotation contribution, how we are calculating rotation factor into, what is the rotation factor? This is the rotation factor, minus 0.25. If I need to calculate this value, minus 0.25 into summation of movements at the joint. Okay, minus 48.89 plus summation of rotation contributions at far end. Okay, so whenever I am calculating this, I don't have any values of this, so I will put 0. So it will be minus 0.25 into minus 48.89 plus 0, it is 12.22. Similarly, for BA, it is minus 0.25. You will get the same value because rotation contributions, rotation factors are same for B on either side. So you will get the same value. But whereas for C, rotation contribution values are different. Okay, rotation factors are different, minus 0.33 and minus 0.17. So you will get different values. And one more thing you have to remember is whenever you are summing up this rotation factors at any joint, you will get minus 0.5 as sum. Okay. In distribution factors, how much you used to get at any joint? You used to get 1. If you sum up the distribution factors, you used to get the value as 1. But whereas for rotation factors, you will get minus 0.5. The minus 0.25 minus 0. You have to check it. This is also one cross check. Okay. Here, if I sum up, I will get minus 0.5. Here also, if I sum up minus 0.33 and minus 0.17, you will get minus 0.5. You have to do this cross check before starting this iteration. Okay. Sometimes there is a chance that you may do some mistake and this total will not be minus 0.5. Then there is chance of error. Okay. So every time cross check. If you sum this value and this value, you are getting minus 0.5. Okay. See, for CB, you will get minus 0.33. This is the rotation contribution, rotation factor value, and summation of movements at this joint. It is 46.67 plus 12.22. Okay, here you can see minus 0.33 into in bracket summation of movements at C is 46.67 and rotation contribution factor at far end. For C, it will be B. So you will get minus 12.22. Okay, this is the values. Okay. The same iteration process will follow for second iteration and third iteration. How many iterations we need to do? We need to go for so many iterations until the difference between 2 iterations is negligible. See here 4851, here it is negligible. 4851 negligible. 1718 negligible. After decimals 0.90, 0.91 negligible. So I can stop after 4th iteration. Okay. So these are the rotation contribution values. Once again, I'm repeating, these are rotation factors. Minus 0.25 is rotation factors. These are fixed end moments. Okay, these are fixed end moments. Minus 35.56. These are fixed end moments. This is rotation factors. These are rotation contributions. You have to be clear with the terminology. Fixed end moments, rotation factors, rotation contributions. Okay. Once we are done with these 4 iterations, we will arrive at rotation contribution values. And calculation of final moments. See, we have already revised this formula. Final end moments, calculation of final moments is nothing but summation of fixed end moments. See, left side I have written. Okay, the formula is summation of fixed end moments plus twice of, here you can write plus. If you want to understand, here you can write plus symbol. Okay, in between these two, plus twice of near end contributions. Okay, near end rotation contributions. You make a correction here, you write near end rotation contributions, and plus summation of far end rotation contributions. Okay, once again I am stressing rotation contributions. You have to be clear with the terminology: fixed end moments, rotation factor, and rotation contributions. Okay, so fixed end moments, from step 1 we got minus 25.256, 35.36. Okay, this is from step 1 we got. So in this, at joint A, at fixed ends, I have given a note also. At fixed ends, the rotation contribution will be 0. Okay, so 2 into 0. See here, you can see this. Rotation contribution at fixed end is always 0. Okay, so here you will get 0. And what is the rotation contribution at far end for A? It is 17.51. Okay, the same value we have entered. 17.51. Similarly, when we are calculating for BA, 17.78. Okay, this is the fixed end movement which we have got from step 1. And then twice of near end rotation contribution. Twice of near end rotation contribution. It is 17.51. We have 7. And for far end contribution, what is the value? 0. For A is the far end. Since A is fixed, the rotation contribution factor for A will be 0. Okay, so we are substituting 0. Similarly for BC, this is the fixed end movement from step 1, minus 66.67. Okay, and twice of rotation contribution at near end, it is 17.51. Okay, for BC it is 17.51. 17.51. For B, C, the near end rotation contribution is 17.51. And for B, C, the far end rotation contribution is minus 21.18. Okay. For BC, you can see minus 66.67 is the fixed end movement, and near end contribution is 17.51, and far end contribution is minus 21.18. Okay. So if I sum up, I will get some value. Similarly for CB and CD. See, 66.67 into twice of near end contribution, rotation contribution. It will be 21.18. And far end contribution is 17.51 for BC. Okay. For CD, it will be 0. Okay. One check what you can make is, since this is A is a fixed end, you will have some movement here. You should not get 0 here. Similarly, D is a fixed end, means it is holding that. So you will have some movement here. At joints, okay, the cross check is the value should be same and opposite in sign. Okay, here you can see 52.80 and minus 52.83. Here you can see at C, it is 41.82 and minus 41.82. So our calculation part is correct. Okay, this is how we arrive at final end movements. Okay, once we are done with final end movements, we will go for shear force and bending moment diagram. Okay, first we need to draw the bending moment diagram, then we'll go for shear force diagram. Okay, try to practice the shear force and bending moment diagrams for this. Okay, this is the continuous beam. Okay, one thing I request all of you is you put a pen on the paper and use calci and try to calculate this. Then only you will understand. If you simply see these values, you cannot make out. Okay, you feel like you have understood everything, but after few days you will not make out what you are doing. Okay, so I request everyone to practice this. Okay, these problems whatever we are discussing in the class, using calci also, because in exam you will face a lot of difficulties if you are not using calci now. Okay, you don't know how to use this, with how this value got you got. Okay, so with this we'll end for continuous beams. For continuous beams we have done two problems. Now for continuous beams with fixed end we have done two problems. Now we'll go for continuous beams with simply supported end. Okay, I will change the slide now. Okay, you just practice this in your home today for today, and the next problem will start now. 1 minute. 1 minute. I will upload the second document. We'll see the second document also today. చెప్పమ్మా ఏది నేను చేస్తున్నా, అప్లోడ్ చేస్తున్నా డాక్యుమెంట్. చెప్పమ్మా. హలో
Hello.
హలో హలో ఏమైందమ్మా? నేను ఇంకా షేర్ చేయలేదమ్మా, చేస్తున్నాను. అవును, క్లాస్లో ఉన్నారు కదా, జరుగుతుంది కదా క్లాస్. ఓపెన్ అయిందా? ఓకే ఓకే. మీరు ఇంకా లేట్గా జాయిన్ అయినట్టున్నారు. అవునా? ఓకే. నా ఫోను నేను వేరే ఎఫ్‌టిపి వింటున్నాను. అందుకనే అది వేరే ఫోన్ పక్క రూమ్‌లో ఉంది. సరే నీకేమైనా డౌట్ ఉంటే అడుగులే మళ్ళీ చెప్తాను. హ్మ్. ఓకేనా? ఇప్పుడు అది నిన్న పంపించిన డాక్యుమెంట్ చూస్తున్నాము. ఇప్పుడే ఓపెన్ చేస్తున్నాను. షేర్ చేస్తాను. ఓకే.
హలో, ఇప్పుడు స్టేషన్ వచ్చామండి. ఏ గురించి మిమ్మల్ని మాట్లాడుదామని. ఈ రోజు బుధవారం పంచమి అంటే
Yes, you are able to see the continuous beams with simply supported and overhanging ends.
Yes, sir.
Huh? So application to continuous beams with simply supported or overhanging ends. Okay. So if you are comfortable with simply supported beams, if you are comfortable with continuous beams with fixed ends, it is just a extension of that and some slight modifications, because at simply supported there won't be any rotation. Okay. And at overhanging there will be some movement because of this loading at the overhanging. Okay. These are the two concepts which you should know, and while solving the problem you can understand. Okay, that's not a, once we see the problem you can easily understand, but as of theory part will be there, we'll just note, we'll just have a discussion about the points. Okay, if the end of the continuous beams is simply supported or overhanging, the last support also rotates. Okay, because at the fixed end, if it is fixed end, any part is fixed means it cannot rotate, it will hold it. But if the fixed end is free means it is a chance is there that it can rotate. So that is what is saying. For simply supported, there is a chance that it will rotate. Okay. Hence, rotation contributions at this end should also be, hence rotation contribution of that joint also should be found. Okay. So for simply supported end, if the end is simply supported, we need to calculate the rotation contribution. Till in the last problem, what we have done, if it is a fixed end, we have assumed that rotation contribution factor will be 0. Okay. Here you need to remember this. Rotation contribution of that joint also should be found in case of simply supported. Okay. For fixed end it is 0. I have given in the notes also. I have mentioned for fixed it is 0 rotation contribution. But for simply supported, rotation contribution value need to be found. Okay. This point you have to remember. Okay. Then stiffness of overhanging portion may be taken as 0, because stiffness means it is resistance. Okay. Since it is overhanging, you won't have any resistance, since the movement in the portion does not depend upon the loading in the other portion. Okay. The rotation factor for interior member at that joint is minus 0.5. Okay. This particular concept you have done for movement distribution method also. Just remember that. Okay. Or revise that. While we are solving problem, I think you can just make out, okay, the same process or the same concept we have done for movement distribution method also. Okay. From here, what we need to understand from these 2 points, okay, rotation contribution at the simply supported end should also be found. Okay, this is the first difference from continuous beams, okay, with fixed ends. And the rotation factor for interior member at the joint is minus 0.5. Okay, this is one method. This first method, it is a laborious process, you will take lot of time. Okay, instead of that, you can go for another method also, where we can distribute that end moment to the adjoining joint. Okay, the final moment at the simply supported end is 0. This every you all should know. Okay, I think you all might know also, the final moment at the simply supported end is 0. It will not have any moment. The final moment at the end support in the overhanging beam is equal to the end moment in the cantilever. Okay, you just remember this formula, MFAB is equal to MFAB minus 0.5 times unbalanced moment at B. Okay, stiffness for that member will be 3I by L. Okay, previously what we are having only EI by L, because it are all the ends are fixed. Okay, all the ends are fixed. So previously we are having stiffness value as EI by L only, but here because we are having simply supported, you will have 3 times EI by L. This is in the first day only I have given in the formula. Okay, far end is fixed means you will have EI by L, whereas far end is hinged means you will have 3 times EI by L. Okay, this concept I have explained in the first class only. Okay, you have to remember this. For simply supported, it will be 3 EI by L. While calculating the rotation factor, we'll see. I will again remind you of this value 3. Okay. Okay, see. Analyze the continuous beam shown by Canis method. Okay, flexural rigidity. Flexural rigidity, what is this value? What do you mean by flexural rigidity? EI. Okay, EI is constant throughout. That means I value is same for all the members. What he means to say is flexural rigidity means I value is same for all the members. Okay, so these are A is fixed and B, C, and D. See, here is the difference. Previously, we used to have a fixed end here. Okay. Now we have got a simply supported. Okay. This is a simply supported one, hinged one. So, what is the difference for continuous and this type of problems, and how to solve this type of problems? Okay. So, in step 1, you don't find any difference. Okay. We'll see that. See, for span AB, we have 50 kilonewton. It is symmetric loading. It is acting at the center. For a span BC, it is UDL 20 kilonewton per meter. Okay, it is fine, no problem. And this is also symmetrical loading acting at center. Okay. So what is the fixed end moment for this type of formulas? We have already seen. Okay. Same concepts. Okay. If it is a point load at the center, you will have minus WL by 8. Okay. The same thing I have entered here. For span AB, for span AB, okay, MFAB minus WL by 8. Okay, so W value is 50, L value is 4, and 8 is the formula. Okay, you will get minus 25 kilonewton. Similarly, for MFBA, the formula is WL by 8. Here you will have negative, here you positive, so you will get positive value of this. Okay, plus 25 kilonewton meter. Okay. For this span BC, you will have WL square by 12. For span BC, the formula is minus WL square by 12, and for CB, it will be WL square by 12. See, minus WL square by 12 plus WL square by 12, minus 20 into 4 square by 12. So here also you will get the same values, both these values, but for negative and positive. Okay. Similarly for CD, MFCD, CD means it is a point load with symmetry. Okay, so WL by 8. Okay, last sem and this sem, this is the common step. Okay, step 1, you will have the same process. Okay, you won't have any difference. Okay, now coming to rotation contribution. Okay, at joint B, we have BA and BC. Okay, BA is fixed. So this is what I am telling. A side is fixed. Okay, EI by L, EI by 4. Similarly, BC. After C, you have D, right? So you will consider C also as fixed, EI by L, EI by 4. So EI by 4 plus EI by 4, you will get EI by 2. Okay. Previously distribution factor, how you calculate k by summation of k. Here k value is ei by 4 by ei by 2. So you will get 0.5. Okay. This is for only for your understanding. Last sem what you have done, I have given. See, this is for your understanding. Last sem you have done this, and this sem we don't have. For Canis method, it is not needed. But to make you remind, I am just calculated and I have put this value here so that you can understand. Okay. Last sem we are calculating distribution factors. Now we are calculating rotation factors. Okay, rotation factor is nothing but minus half of this value, k by summation of k. Okay, so here I will get minus 0.25 and minus 0.25. And one more check is at any joint, it should be minus 0.5 for rotation factor. For distribution factor, it will be 1. Okay, minus 0.5 plus 0.5, 1. This is not needed. This particular column I have just given you. Since you have calculated in the last sem, you can make out. Okay, you can relate. Last time we have calculated this time we are calculating this. Okay. Similarly for CB, CD. Okay. We'll get the values EI by 4, EI by 4. Okay. At the far end, okay. At the far end, we can take directly 0.5 minus 0.5. This is what we have given in the notes. Okay. The rotation factor for the interior member at the joint is minus 0.5. This you have done for distribution method also. Okay, this concept you have already done for distribution method also. Movement distribution method also you have taken the same value. Okay, directly we can take value minus 0.5. If it is overhanging. For DC, you can take minus 0.5 directly. Because at any joint, how much value should have? Minus 0.5. So here we don't have the extension for D. So I am taking D value as minus 0.5. See. At any joint, you will have, if you sum this two, you will get minus 0.5. If you sum this two, you will get minus 0.5. Okay. If you sum this, it's only one joint, so you will have minus 0.5. You can take directly. Okay. So here you can see the same concept you will follow. Okay, nothing different. These are fixed end movements. Minus 25, 25, minus 26.67, 26.67, minus 25, plus 25. These are all fixed end movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, fixed end movements. Rotation factor at rotation contribution is 0. Okay, at this point we will not have anything. This is B joint. So we have minus 0.25 and minus 0.25. Okay. Similarly at joint C, I will have minus 0.25, minus 0.25. Whereas at the DC, I will have minus 0.5. This is the only change we are making now. Okay. This is the only change what we got now. And inside the box, we will have summation of movements at this joint. 25 minus 26.67. Okay. It is minus 1.67. 26.67 minus 25 plus 1.67. Here you will get minus 1.67. Here plus 1.67. And here directly you don't have any other value. So 25 only will have it here. Okay, 25. So these are my fixed end movements which I have written in red color. Okay, and in the outer box of the rectangle, whatever the values I have written, these are rotation factor values. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are rotation factor values. And whatever I have written inside the box, inner box, these are summation of movements at this joint. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, how to calculate this rotation factors values? How you will calculate rotation contribution values? Rotation factor into summation of movement at this joint plus summation of rotation contribution at far end. Okay. So, for this first iteration, all these values are 0. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever we are having values, these are all initially zeros. Okay. So, first I will calculate this value. How I will get minus 0.25. Okay, this is the rotation factor into, in bracket, summation of movement at this joint minus 1.67 plus initially we will not have this value because you after calculating this value only will get this. So this value will be 0 initially. So minus 0.25 into in brackets minus 1.67 plus 0. Minus 0.25 into minus 1.67 plus 0. So you'll get minus 0.42. Similarly for M dash BC also you'll get the same value, minus 0.25 into minus 1.67 plus 0 is equal to 0.42. Okay. And for this particular part, okay. So what is the rotation factor? Minus 0.25 into, okay, summation of movements at this joint is 1.67 and summation of movements at rotation contribution at far end is, for B, C it is this value minus 0.42. So my calculation part will be minus 0.25 into in brackets plus 1.67 plus 0.42. Okay, the same thing we have entered here to get this value. Okay, minus 0.25 into summation of movements at the joint is 1.67 plus summation of rotation contribution value at far end, it is 0.42. So I'll get minus 0.52. Okay, minus 0.52. Okay. Similarly, here also I will get the same. Here how I will get minus 0.5 into 25 plus this value. Minus 0.5 into 25 and rotation contribution at far end is minus 0.52. So I'll get minus 12.24. This is for one iteration. Okay. How many iterations I need to do till the difference between two iterations is negligible? So at fifth iteration, I'm getting negligible values. Okay. These are rotation contribution values and these are rotation factor values and these are fixed end moments. Okay. Ritish, can you take the attendance for this?
Okay, sir.
You take the attendance. You calculate the iteration cycle and tomorrow we'll see this part. Okay. Once the iteration cycle is over, we'll calculate the final end moments, how we got this final end moments. You can see that it is taking a lot of time. We have another alternative method also for this. Okay, that is the second method. So what we are doing is we are trying to modify the fixed end moments. Okay. Whatever movement I am having here, I am just trying to carry over that movement. Okay, I am trying to nullify the movement at D and try to bring that movement to C. Okay, that is another part. Okay, another method of solving this. Okay,